So we're going to look at equation with two variables. It's a high school algebra review. And these equations are going to come in various kind of forms, but we're going to try to understand them in the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Hopefully you have some recollection of how that works from high school math, but if you don't, that's okay. We're going to explain everything you need to know for this class. So here m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, and we're going to explain both of those here in a bit. And when you have an equation with two variables, you can represent that on an xy coordinate plane. And in this class, you're only going to worry about linear equations, which that just means that y and x doesn't have a power on it. And here you can see, here's y equals 2x plus 4, and that can be represented by a line lying on the xy coordinate plane. So the slope value is how much y changes by when x goes up by 1. So another way to say is that's how slanted the slope is. So the more slanted it is, the more y changes by when x changes by 1. And if it's slanted to the left, that means when x goes up by 1, y actually goes down. So that's why it has a negative value. So here's the formula for determining a slope when you're given 2 points. Let's look at an example. So a line goes through the point 1, 2, and 3, 6. What is the slope? So here you just simply plug and chug. So x1, y1 is 1, 2, x2, y2 is 3 and 6. And it doesn't matter if you switch the order, the answer will still come up to be the same. So here we have the slope is 6 minus 2 on the top and 3 minus 1 on the bottom, which comes out to be 4 over 2. And the slope is 2. So sometimes you have to determine the slope given an equation. And again, we're just going to use the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So here's how this works. Let's consider the equation 3x plus 2y equals 12. So I want to put this equation into the form y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to isolate y by itself. So first I'm going to move the 3x over by subtracting 3x from both sides. And then now I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And rearranging the terms, I have that y equals negative 3 half x plus 6. So negative 3 half is the m part, and the 6 is the b part. So m is the slope, so therefore negative 3 half is our slope. Here's a special case of a slope, which is a horizontal slope. And that's when the equation has the form y equals a. A is a constant. So here, this means that, as you can see, x is not present in the equation. So that means whatever x is, y is always going to be this number, and y is not dependent on x. So here, that's why no matter what x is, y is always going to take the value a, and it's just a straight line, horizontal. The other special case is the vertical slope, and vertical slope is going to have the form x equals b, where b is a constant. So here y is not present, so no matter what y is, x is always going to be b. So here you can see it's a vertical slope. And the slope value is considered to be infinity or undefined. And as you recall, you already learned how to find the slope by using this formula. And now we're going to find the entire equation when you're given 2 points. So first you find your slope, and then you're going to plug in x and y to solve for b. Let's do an example. So here we're going to try to find the equation of the line going through these 2 points. So you start out by finding the slope, which is 3 minus 1 on top, negative 4 minus 2 on the bottom, and you have a slope of 2/3. So this next part, we're going to try to find the b, which we're going to select one of these 2 points and then plug it in for x and y. So I'm going to choose the point 2, 1 here, but either one will work. And I'm going to plug m in and x in and y in to the formula y equals mx+b. So here y is 1, m is 2/3, and x is 2, and b is what we're trying to solve for. So therefore we have b equals negative 1/3. And the equation is simply y equals 2/3 x minus 1/3. So x-intercept is the x value when y equals 0, and y-intercept is the y value when x equals 0. So if we consider the equation 3x plus 2y equals 12 again, so when y is 0, you simply put 0 in for y, so 3x plus 0 equals 12. Well, when that happens, x is equals 4. So this x equals 4 is what the x-intercept is when y is 0. The same way, we find the y-intercept by putting x equals 0. So we have 0 plus 2y equals 12, and y equals 6. So y equals 6 is the y-intercept. So note that if the equation has the form y equals a, then it has no intercept, because y will never be 0. In the same way, x equals b has no y-intercept. So now we're going to learn how to use equations to represent word problems. So when you have 2 variables with linear equation, then you can represent them in equations. And here's an example. A cab ride starts at $2.50 and costs 20 cents per mile. So we want to know the relationship between the cost of the ride and the miles driven. So let mile driven be the x variable and the cost be y. Here we have y-intercept is 250. That's what the cost is when x is 0. So if there's no mile driven, you still have to pay 250. And here the slope is 20 cents, because that's how much y goes up by when x goes up by 1. So, and here you have the equation. Y equals 0.2x plus 250. So when you get the equation, you can simply plug in one of their variable to find the other. So for example, you want to know how much it costs to travel 10 miles. Then you just put in 10 for x. So here we have y equals 20 cents times 10 plus 250, which is 450.